Welcome to Bunnyfish Crafts. I'm your host Heather, known as Bunnyfish on Ravelry, Instagram, and YouTube. Today is Monday, the 17th of August, 2015, and this is episode 142, Staycation. Grab some sticks and string and come sit with me. Yeah, I think that's my intro. You'd think I would know my own intro, but apparently not. Anyway, last week was the first week of school, and Gabriel did very well both days. He clicked up, which means that he got recognized for good behavior or working hard or something. There weren't any comments because teachers don't generally leave comments when the kids are good, only when they're bad, which is a little bit frustrating, but it is what it is. I am not working this week. It's my vacation, so that's exciting. And you can see what I've been doing. I was painting and I bumped my hair against what I was painting. And I didn't get it out right away, so I'll have to brush it out later. Yeah, that's when Gabriel kicked over the bucket of paint, I was in the middle of painting the railings and I just never got back to it. So since I have vacation, I'm knocking out that and a few other projects around the house. So a lot of painting, a few repairs that need to happen. Yeah, it's not as exciting as what I would like to do because what I would like to do is obviously go to Michigan. But, you know, Gabriel's in school, so it's not such a good time for that. It has been decided by, nobody has said, no, don't do this. And some people have said, yes, do this. So it has been decided that the craft along for September, October, November will be a finish or frog it sort of thing. I'm probably not going to do December because, you know, holidays, but finish or frog it. So I will start a chatter thread, hopefully before I post this, with the rules, and you can start planning in that thread. If you want to make a list of all of the projects you have or have a little walk of shame, I'm kind of planning on doing that soon. So yeah, just, you know, start thinking about it. It starts in a couple weeks. For the finish it part, it only has to be started before the beginning of the knit along. So if you didn't have a lot of projects on the needles and you wanted to cast some things on and just do a little bit of work on them, that totally counts. And you would get 2 entries for those. I'm just saying. It's kind of like cheating, but not really cheating. I have a finished object this week. It is the Capucine by Adela Ilikwignova, and it is out of Handspun. So the little fox stitch marker, which I got from Foxes and Socks in their goodie bag, that is where I was last week. And my bun is really high, so the hat is sitting kind of weird. Should have planned that out better. Oh well. So here is the hat. It's got the ear flap thingies. I'm going to pull it down over my bun so that it's a little less awkward. I don't know. Should have thought this through. Anyway, so it's not as deep as the other ones that I have made, but I think it's still a good depth, and obviously if my hair was not in the bun how it is, you know what? I'm just going to fix it. I'm going to take my hair down. So P.S. It's vacation week, and since I'm painting, I haven't done my hair today. I took it from bed and immediately put it in a bun, so it's a little bit of a hot mess. Whatever. You guys have seen me look way messier than this. So it's a fine depth, and if I had my hair in a ponytail down here, it would be fine. Which is actually something I love about this hat. You can wear your hair up and still have the hat cover all the things as long as you're not wearing your ponytail up here. But you could modify the hat because it's got crown decreases here. You could modify that and leave it open if you wanted this hat but wearing a high ponytail. So yeah, that's the Capucine, and I knit that on US 7 4.5mm needles. I used Handspun that I finished spinning during Tour de Fleece this year. It is a wool alpaca blend. I'm going to put my hair up again. Yeah, I wanted to have more done this week, but you know, I always want to have more done. But at least I had something finished this week because last week I didn't. I have a bunch of works in progress though. Well, I kind of have another finished object, now that I'm thinking about it. But I'm not going to show it to you here. I'm going to talk about it at the end. So the rag rug, I worked on that, and this all ties together, I promise. I'm not just rambling, although I am mostly rambling. I used all of the blue that I had left. So this is getting pretty large. I would say it was probably half of a sheet's worth of blue that I put on, and it's 2 rounds in some places and 3 rounds in others. So the next fabric that I'm going to put on is this. And the reason why I have a small square of this fabric is because Mara likes to cut things. She just does paper, sheets, clothing, her hair. I try to limit her to just paper, but yeah, she cut her sheets, her fitted sheets. We hardly ever use the flat sheets on the beds, almost never. So I was thinking about how I should get her new sheets because both of her fitted sheets have holes cut in them. And then I was looking at the flat sheet and I was like, I wonder if these are the same dimension when they're not with the elastic in it. So I looked up a tutorial, and you know what? I'll just talk about it now because it's works in progress and stuff. I was going to talk about it at the end, but whatever. So I looked up a tutorial, which I will have a link to in the show notes. It's already there. I already did show notes for this week before I recorded. It's very strange. So I looked up the tutorial, and basically when you get a set of fitted and flat sheets, they're the same, but the corners are cut out of the fitted sheets and elastic is sewn in. So I just took out the elastic from the fitted sheet, cut the corners open, and then cut the corners of the fitted sheet open, laid it flat over the flat sheet, and then cut out the corners of the flat sheet, sewed up the corners, and put the elastic back in. I did have to let out, you know, that bit at the top of your fitted sheet or your flat sheet, the part that goes at the top of the bed, that nice little fold over. I did have to take the hem out of that in order to make it the same size. So that was the only side where there wasn't casing already made for the elastic. I had to sew that part down, but it was really quick, and we never use the flat sheets. So that makes so much more sense to just, you know, wait until the fitted sheet dies and then use the flat sheet to make a new fitted sheet instead of just having this huge thing of fabric just sitting there forever. I made the new fitted sheet, and I had the old fitted sheet in, you know, I have 4 of these, and then the rest of the fitted sheet. I'm not going to use all of that in my rag rug. I'm going to use the 4 corners, and then I'm going to use about half of the rest of the fitted sheet because half of it was completely unmarked, and I'm going to turn it into curtains for Mara. So I'll show you a picture of that next week once they're up, because she has curtains, but they're kind of faded, and I have the fabric, so why not? So I'll do a before and after picture next week, and you'll be able to see that. Anyway, this rag rug is getting ginormous. I know it's only another 1.5 inches or something added on, but it does not fit in the screen, covers all of me, and I think that this will be a good transition fabric because I'm not doing just the blue anymore or just the red to pink anymore. This will be a good transition fabric, and it'll also be nice to have a patterned fabric in there because the rest of them have been non-patterned. I know the pink is kind of, I set it up to be kind of a variegated, but it'll be nice to have an actual patterned fabric in there. And then I'm hoping this week to get to somewhere that sells fabric dye so that I can dye that other comforter so I can have that fabric to add in next week. That is my tentative plan for right now. other works in progress. I worked on my design mitts, and I was at this point last week, so I did all of this. I am past the thumb gusset, so I am here to about here, and my plan is to make this pair about here. So it should be really quick and easy to finish this week, especially because I have the week off. Like, even though I'm painting and stuff, having that time at night where I'm not going to work and then at work and then coming home from work and then winding down from work gives me a lot of time. I had a lot of time last night to craft. I got a lot done just last night, a lot of progress on things. Anyway, so those are my design mitts, which are out to test knitters, and I've heard back from a couple of them, and we're on track for the test knitting. I know this is ridiculous, but I'm pretty proud of myself for finally getting that pattern out to test knitters, because sometimes I'm a fail at that. The thing about designing is it's really fun to knit the new design. It is a bajillion times less fun to write up the pattern. That part, it doesn't even take that long once you just sit down and do it, but the getting to the point where you sit down and do it takes forever. Some people are really good about it. I am not that good about it. Anyway, another work in progress is the Thank You Sarah socks. So this is the front, and it is not as far as I wanted it to be. Remember I said I wanted the legs done this week? Yeah, if I had worked on these more, I could have maybe done that, but this is where I was last week, and this is the pattern. I just finished the cuff and I've started the leg, so at least there's leg somewhere on here. It is all twisted stitches. All the knit stitches are twisted. There are twisted stitches and small cables and purling. There is a textured pattern on the leg. There's a lot going on these socks. So I think this pattern is lovely, and it is very well written. It is incredibly well written, totally worth the money. It's by Heidi Nick, and I just want to say all that up front because it's a really good pattern. It's very well written. The socks are going to be beautiful when they're finished. I am having a moment with the pattern because I like complicated socks, but I like socks that look like they're a lot of work, but are actually just really cool tricks. And these socks look like a lot of work and are actually a lot of work. They're beautiful. They're totally going to be worth it. So pretty, but yeah, it's a lot of work. Twisted stitches for the entire everything. It's a lot. It's going to be lovely though. Oh, let me show you the back because they're different, the fronts and backs. So that's the back, and here's the front. And you can just barely see that they're different. They're lovely though, and I am pretty sure I can finish them this month. There's about 2 weeks left. If I actually focus on them, I should be fine. I should be fine. I can do this, right? I can do this. It's not that much knitting. It's just a pair of socks. The yarn is Leading Men Fiber Arts in the Showcase base, and the colorway is Brightly Endeavor. It's a lovely flecked green color. You can't see the flecks so much once it's knit up. Not in a bad way. Like in the yarn and in the cake, they kind of stand out, but once it's knit up, they add a little depth to the color, which is lovely. What else did I work on? Oh yeah, my zip relaxagon socks. Should have been a finished object, but I lost it. I lost the project bag, which I'm going to show you all my project bags, because why not? Because I just said project bag, so. Sewn by Lindsay. That is what my design is held in. And I didn't tell you the design yarn. Oh my gosh, I'm such a scatter today. So the design yarn is It's by Daisy Knits. It's the Hardy 2.0 base, and it is in the colorway Robin's Egg. And it is very lovely. I love this blue. It's so perfect for my design. The Sprightly Endeavor colorway, Thank You Sarah socks, are in my Kitchen Counter Crafter bag that was donated to the podcast to be a prize, but was generously gifted to me by the prize winner, who I made wrist distaffs for instead. So, yay! And then the Zipper Lexicon socks were in this tetrahedron bag. How did I lose this bag in my craft room? Do you know how many pink things I own? Yeah, this. I think this is the culmination of all of the pink that I own. And I lost it in my craft room for 2 days, so I didn't work on it for 2 whole days. Anyway, I was over here, which means that I did 2 hexagons and then the heel, which is another 3, so 5 hexagons. I'm on another one. I am now finally on the leg. So all I have left is leg, cuffs, toes. These need to be finished by next week. So what did I say so far? 2 projects finished by next week, the design mitts and this. Totally doable because I'm on staycation. And I only paint a little bit at a time. I have a little, in one of the cups that we used for egg dyeing, Easter egg dyeing, that I scoop out just a little bit of paint in and then paint everything that's in the cup and then go off about my business. I would say maybe I use a quarter of a cup of paint at a time, but probably not even that much. Maybe more like an eighth. I guess it depends on how I'm feeling when I'm scooping out the paint. I also, I think that's all my knitting. Let me look. Yes. I also did some spinning though. I spun on the Painted Tiger Eventide, the Hippie Penguin BFL, the Merla Fiber Arts Bat, on the Spun Right Round Superwash Merino Jaws colorway. So this is how much I have finished. This is still the first half of the fiber. I have this much left to go. But my spindle is starting to get heavy in a way that makes it spin less well. So I'm going to wind this off. And then instead of finishing this part of the braid, I am going to spin the small parts of the fractal until the spindle gets too heavy, and then I will spin this part of the braid. That way I can start plying while I'm still spinning the singles. That's pretty much what I do when I'm spinning 4 ounces of fiber, unless I'm spinning something really thick. So yeah, that's it's a Spun Right Round Jaws colorway. I did a lot this week. I wanted to be further because it's a little more than halfway through the month and I want to get this fiber done. But I think that spinning this will go faster than spinning this, because it usually does. Because with this, it's like, oh, let me just spin the next color. Let me spin the next color. Whereas this, you know, that's a decent sized chunk of blue. Takes a little while. So I'll be winding this off later today and starting the little bump of fiber. I did 8 hexapuffs this week. Let's see. I have a celebratory one, which didn't get picked up, obviously. This is orange yarn from Carrie. Hexapuff knitted normally and then turned inside out before closing. And then this is the yarn from the Zipper Lexicon socks. So this is the color that I'm cutting out. This is leftover from the Christmas socks I made for Gabriel. So what is this? Osterman Step. Yep. This one is ZK15 yarn. This is yarn from Christina. This is 2 mini skeins of opal, just using the leftover bits. I'm almost all out of the opal. I have this left. This is all I have left of the opal that Ellie sent me. So I'm excited to have used it all up, because then it's not just sitting around waiting to be used. But there were some really pretty colors, so I'm a little bit sad that they're all gone. This is ZK 2015 yarn, and this is opal, which the smaller scrap, this is from this Hexapuff. I also did Barn Raising Square number 37. Here it is. This is knit out of the hand spun from Haley. It wasn't, the skeins themselves weren't large enough to do squares all by themselves, and I didn't want to do, 10 rounds of black for the border. So I decided to put them together, and I have a very small ball left over of the hand spun, which I will use in a different project. I love the progression of the middle color. It's very subtle, that blue to green. Then it goes purple to blue, which is fine. I like that too, but it goes from a darker bluish, I don't know if you can see that at all, darker bluish to a blue-green to a green, and I just love the transition. It's beautiful in person. It's nice on camera too, but it's even more beautiful in person. So thank you, Haley, for the hand spun. I love it. And now I have this. Also, I don't want to sound rude just thanking Haley. Also, thank you, Christina and Ellie and Carrie, for the yarn. I appreciate it greatly. I have a couple new things. Very exciting new things. But first I'm going to talk about what I was reading this week. So I finished Sever. It was kind of the typical third book in a trilogy, post-apocalyptic sort of thing, where it ended okay. It just, I don't know, it was slightly unsatisfying. Because it's like, and their lives went on. This thing happened and their lives went on. I don't know. I just wanted more resolution. I started reading Fairy Wars by Herbie Brennan, which I actually started reading this book in high school. I picked it up at the bookstore when my best friend and I went to the bookstore one weekend, and it said Fairy Wars. I never read the backs of books or covers of book jackets. I totally go by the title and the cover art, and I was like, oh, that looks interesting, and I started reading it. Couldn't get into it because the main character, it actually follows several main characters, but the first main character for the first 2 chapters was a boy, a teenage boy, and I was like, I just couldn't get into it. This time I read the first 2 chapters and I was still like, okay, it's okay. And then I got to the 3rd chapter and it changed protagonists, and I was like, oh, okay, much more interesting. So I'm about halfway through, a little over it looks like, and it's young adult. It's about fairies are not like the She. They're not like the, it's a different style of fairy. Like, fairies come from a different, like an alternate reality. And when they come here, they walk through portals that that shrink them down and give them wings. And that's how they are fairies. In their own place, they look a lot more normal. But magic is much more prevalent in their realm. So at one point, a fairy comes to our realm, and he's a catalyst in what might become a war. Like, he'll be the catalyst if the war starts between two groups of fairy, the fairy of light and the fairy of night. It's pretty good. I like it. I'm enjoying it so far. I also started The Good Neighbors by Holly Black, who you know I love, and Ted Naife. This is book 1. It's called Kin. It is very thin, and it is a graphic novel. I started it early in one morning in my car and then left it in my car for about 4 days. So yeah, we were going to the zoo with a friend of mine right before school started. I think it was Wednesday. And she was meeting us, so I was reading in the car while we were waiting. Okay, new things. Some really short podcasts. New things. I mentioned that I pre-ordered something at the ZK, and it has arrived, and it is even more beautiful than I remembered. Jenna and Josh did a collaboration for that thing, Typhoon, Josh's new pattern that's gone viral. It is for a self-striping yarn and a solid yarn in a shawl. So you use a self-striping fingering weight yarn in a shawl. I liked the kits that were made. They were lovely, but I saw 2 of the colors from the kits and I was like, I would like it better if those 2 colors were together than the way that they had been separated for the kit. So I was like, Jenna, I'm a pain, but can you do this? And she said, well, are there any kits left? I'll split one up for you right now. And I went out and looked, and there was one with one of the colorways I wanted, and then 5 with the other. And I was like, it's fine. Just, sell the kits as they are and pre-order. I'll pre-order it from you if that's okay. And she was like, yeah, sure. That's okay. So the colorways that I have are a Clan Tartan of Badness and Josh Can't Overdye Black. And this base is 716 Solo Silky, which is 70% superwash merino, 30% silk. Oh, it's so pretty. That gray is Josh Can't Overdye Black. And the silk content makes it shiny and very soft. And I want to cast on a Typhoon right away, but I can't. Also, this is 2 skeins of yarn twisted together. This isn't this won't be one ball of yarn. It's so pretty. I love the self-striping colorway, Clan Tartan of Badness, and Josh Can't Overdye Black is just a great color. It's so pretty. And I'm excited to use this because I have not used her silky base before. I love it so much. Jenna is a genius. She is an awesome possum. I'm rambling. Anything else that I need to say? Oh, I have one other new thing. I just saw it. So one more new thing. It's new to me, but not new to me. You remember how my knitting group and I are doing the Frankenstein socks, and I finished the toes and heels? So toes and heels. Yesterday, we finally had our trade-off for yarn, and we traded yarn colors in one direction and then traded the part of the sock knit in the other direction. So I won't be doing heels and toes again. Instead, I will be using this lovely purple color that is Lorraine's. She dyed 2 other colorways, one for Joyce, who decided not to participate, and one for Claire, whose yarn you will see in a couple weeks. And then she took those leftover dyes and just threw them in a dye pot, and she ended up with this lovely purpley pink color that has those pops of darker purple. And I will be knitting cuffs and legs for the socks. That's my part. So that is what that is. Ooh, this is a really pretty color. I might need some of this in my life. Okay, I say that, but then would I actually wear this color? I don't know, but I like it. So that will be coming up in knitting. And that's all I have for you this week. I hope you made something fantastic with your sticks and string. I will see you next week. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but I don't think I am. I don't know. Oh well. See you next week. Bye.